Team, yes. Join, join, join. Hurry up. Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, please.
Okay, sure. Okay, so I'll start with a brief introduction of the mandate for the webinar, and then we hear from Jojo. Okay, so there's a project that I started that's Noteworthy Days, and I believe that every day is uh, with an experience, and so it's nice to note every day, note our experiences every day. Yes. So then I started with a blog that most of us know about, and then at some point there was a podcast, but that's on hold. And so I decided to start this monthly webinar that I I I meet a lot of people, and I learn from them, and I feel like most of these people I encounter, and their stories are worth sharing to the world. And so this is our first uh, monthly webinar, and we have Jojo Apia. So Jojo Apia is a co-founder for Redwater Technologies, and he's a tech entrepreneur. So I we've been having conversations about entrepreneurship, and I've been wondering how he's been able to be an entrepreneur for this long because I know it's not easy. Yeah. So as young people, we sometimes we are scared to take risks, but Jojo is here to tell us and teach us that sometimes those risks are worth taking. So yes, so we will go into it. Um, Jojo, so we would like you to tell us a bit about yourself, and then we we take it up from
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Jojo Apia, and I've been in software development for a very long time now. An interesting fact about me is that I've been more or less building software since I was 8 years old and in primary school in Ghana. And from then, I've gone on to build different products. I've started company Redwater Technologies. I've worked with large organizations, and I'm hoping to share a lot about my experience here with you all. Entrepreneurship is not something to be afraid of at all. I mean, there are ups and downs, but then um, it's nothing to be scared of. So I'm here to talk more about my experience, and then looking forward to also hearing about you all.
Yes, great. So I think a few housekeeping rules. So what we are going to do, because we have limited time, what we are going to do is that I would like everyone to take note of their questions, and then once we have the floor open for questions, then we can ask our questions. Okay. So also because of bandwidth reasons, not everybody has a lot of data or has stable network. So we urge that everybody should turn off their videos. Okay, thank you. And also, to draw your attention to something, because we are live streaming on YouTube, so we should be careful of what we say and what we put across during the webinar. Okay, thank you. All right. So, Jojo, we would like to know about your entrepreneurial journey. We want to know what inspired you to choose this particular path because most people are scared of. I'm scared of entering tech. I'm scared of being an entrepreneur. What actually motivated you to take this path?
Okay, so first of all, you need to have a passion for something. And mine has always been developing software or basically programming in general. And like I said, I started out very, very early. I started when I was 8 years. I had access to a machine, and then a friend of mine showed me what programming could be like. He showed me the basic language. And this was in the 90s, the early 90s. And I was in primary school at the time. From then, I went into SS, into Gessens College, and moved from there on. I went deeper into programming. And I wanted to understand more about it because from the moment I experienced coding, I fell completely in love with it. It became, I was obsessed. I was looking for bits and pieces of code everywhere. And I think that's what led my path primarily. So after that, after my schooling days, I started building internet cafe softwares because Ghana was just now moving into the internet space. There weren't a lot of banks that were even using the internet then. But one of the things that crept up a lot was internet cafes. So I started building these solutions to also better my understanding of programming in general. And from then, I started work in SoftTribe. SoftTribe, for those who don't know SoftTribe was the first software company in Ghana. They built systems for the LED Max Mart and basically all of the POSs back in the day were built by SoftTribe. So I worked with them, and while I worked with them, I gained some experience, I'll say a tremendous amount of experience in both working as a software developer and then um, managing some parts of a business because then I got exposed to what businesses were like, the things you needed to put in place if you wanted to create the type of business I'd gone into, what marketing meant, what sales meant, what building a team looked like. And I had very, very good mentors along the way. So as I evolved or as I went on in SoftTribe, I built an airline reservation system that was, I think, was the very first of its kind here, and it was very challenging. It was imagine not having stable internet, one, and two, very expensive internet. So we had to come up with new ways to make such a system work. And this was before, for those who are in tech now, this was way before things like APIs and stuff came about. So um, that's we managed to build that solution. And then from what I learned, or every single solution I built, I learned something new. What I learned from that was nothing is impossible. You should try as much as possible to do anything you want to. It will work out. Then from there, I built a TV system. You know, back in the day, they had these TV games where you send SMSs to a TV station, you have a presenter speaking, and then you answer questions by SMS. So I built those systems as well, and was one of the first. And there were a lot of um, modern celebrities now that started off from that particular application. And then After that, what did I do? I also built the system for Bank of Ghana that makes it possible to now clear checks in a day. This was something that I built whilst I was in SoftTribe. So, back in the day, you could only clear checks in 3 days, but now there's special clearing. So the system that was built made it possible for that to happen. So I worked with SoftTribe for a bit, and I mean, I still wanted to do more. I wanted to experiment more. I wanted to build more products. I wanted the freedom to just keep building because, look, for me, working with someone was fine. It was a very good experience, and it's really a good experience for everyone because then you can learn about all of the different aspects of a business. But then I still felt a little boxed in that I was only building one type of solution. I wanted to explore, I wanted to do more, I wanted to go deep into my mind, go into the future, see what I could build. So I started Redwater Technologies to do exactly that. And one of the very first applications that I built was the email client, an email client for Microsoft's Xbox. And and that was me letting myself dream out loud because what I was thinking was there'll be a time. Sorry, I built this in 2016, 2017. But what went on in my mind was there'll be a time in the near future where people would be working from home. And while they are working from home, a subset of these people would be gamers. If not, a lot of people would now become gamers. And during that period, these gamers would also have jobs where they will either be working online or on premise, but mostly online. And I was thinking there should be a way they should be able to quickly respond to emails and stuff without having to leave their video gaming seats. So I built this application. It got some recognition globally, and and yes. So from then on, we've I started forming a team, and then we built several other systems, restaurant management systems. We even have currently we have quality assurance teams, but I'll talk about that as we go along. So this is what motivated me. I wanted to let myself move free. I wanted to go out of my head and think and do as much as I wanted to do. It wasn't really about the money at that time. It wasn't really about the money, but it was about like exploring as much as you could. You find out what your talent is, and then you begin to explore all the different things that you can do with the talent. So that's why, or that's how Redwater Technologies was born.
Okay, so that's an interesting journey. Yes, I know I've heard a bit about the journey, but I think today I've heard new stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
so I know you work with a team of 5 people, and I wanted to know, some people start um, once they want to be entrepreneurs. I mean, they scout for people around them, people that they feel can help their business grow. Like, so I wanted to know why the number 5, because people start with large numbers and all that. But why did you start with 5? Because I know, did you start with 5? Because I know currently there are 5. Yes. So did you start with 5, and what was the criteria you used in selecting the people you work with currently?
Okay, so I started off by myself. I was running the company for a long time by myself, trying to figure out what the market looked like and trying to have a deeper understanding of the market in general. I wanted to start off making the mistakes and then learning from them before bringing other people on board. But what happened was, as I kept moving, as I kept experiencing, meeting barriers and crossing them, people started appearing. The people I needed to work with started appearing. They came in the form of friends that I knew from long ago, and other people who listened to the vision and decided to jump along. And from then, I mean, it's been quite solid because we feed into each other. We encourage each other when there's a there are very heavy projects or challenges that we face, and then we're able to surpass all of that. So that's how we ended up at five. So far, it's been a good number. We're
Mm,
able to contain whatever within that number.
okay.
Yes.
So have you had anyone hop off your team along the way, or all the people that you started with are still with
Oh, we're all still together.
you?
We are all still together. Yes. This is why I started off very small, understanding the market and then moving
Mm,
on and keeping the numbers small. So then you can manage things much better.
all
Yes.
right. So, okay. So in this case, you haven't had um, any issues when it comes to betrayals and all that, because a lot of people, once they start partnering up with people, these things come up. You're human. You haven't had any experiences of that sort.
Oh no, okay, sorry. I believe in every business and in every relationship that you have, honesty is key. So you should be honest with your team. You should live as a family and keep that honesty within. So I have not had the experience of having a betrayal or any of those sorts. It's always been about innovation, and once you keep your key concepts or the reason why you even started in the first place in mind, I don't think you should be derailed by any other thing that shows up.
Okay.
Yes. So I've not had any of those. And I believe honesty is key. So you should be honest with your team.
Mm,
You should be honest with your team. I believe when you are not honest, that's when it opens up to betrayals and other things that you may have not anticipated.
okay. So you spoke about studying the market and studying
Yes.
the people around you. But can you
Yes.
share some of the things you did when you were studying the market? Because I mean, people say they're studying the market, they're researching, but sometimes I feel like they are not doing it in the right way. So can you share some of the things you did, hoping that we can learn from some of the things you did?
All right. So in studying the market, it's usually a painful step. It requires moving around a lot, and it also involves, giving out products at basically free to one understand what people want, better your skills, and also get enough feedback from the people around you to know whether you are on the right path or you need to make an adjustment to some of the decisions that you make. So it was just diving in head first. I built a number of products. I consulted for other people, but with those things, you just build them, and then let people use your product. And from there, you get the feedback, which you can add to your repository for when you want to go huge.
Okay. So
Yes.
I know in the tech space, most of the products we build, we mostly build them and let people use them for free. And then as time goes on, we start to make money. Has there been such experience in your case, or is it that once you build the product, you have like you have value for money? What are some of the experiences in that regard?
Okay, so there've been some products where you build, and then of course it's because someone has contracted you to build those products. There are other products that you build to simply test out the market to see what what people really want, and then after a while, maybe a year or something, you can begin monetizing of your product. But it's always a learning experience. It's always something that you have to dive in and not be afraid to do. Just walk it. Don't be afraid of the when cash will start flowing in and not whatnot. Just move. Just move. Meet meet a roadblock. Cross that roadblock. And at every single juncture, you will learn something very important, both about yourself and about the business you are creating. So you have to be willing to learn, and learning means doing some of the painful things in the initial stages.
Okay. Um, so I know you've had a lot of client engagements, a lot of people you speak to. How do you deal with the difficult clients? Because personally, those are one of my fears in getting into the entrepreneurship space. I mean, it's easier when you know that okay, you work for somebody, and so you know that your job or your livelihood depends on how you treat the customer. Okay, so it's easier to, I mean, to be tolerant. But once you know that okay, you know what you are worth, um, you know what you bring to the table. Some clients can be very difficult, and I've had an experience when it comes to that. So how do you deal with difficult clients?
Okay, so I think difficult clients are, when you say difficult clients, there could be many reasons why the client could be difficult. One, it could it be monetary? Could it be your product that they aren't satisfied with? But I believe that communication, communication at every one of these points is also.
Hello, hello.
Goodness. Sorry, I think I went off.
Okay.
Yes. So what makes them difficult? Is it monetary? If so, there are several ways around it. A customer could come up and say, "Okay, I want X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, but I'll only pay this amount." Then you tell them that, okay, you can start off with this, give them A, B, and tell them that for A, B, you can maybe pay this amount for A, B. As you go on, you add C, D. So it spreads out their expectations and your expectations as well. That's one side of the difficult customer. But when you speak about difficult customers, what exactly do you mean? I've spoken about the monetary side, which is one of the prime things that every starting entrepreneur would face. That's pricing your product and then getting the right pricing for your product. But
Yeah.
I would like to ask what,
What?
yes,
Okay. So as you said, difficult customers can come in so many forms. You can have a
yes.
customer that is never satisfied with what you do, and I know most of them, most entrepreneurs face this um, problem. So with a customer that is never satisfied with what you do, how do you how do you keep such a relationship?
Okay, in such a relationship, the customer has expressed dissatisfaction with everything that you do. So I would say, take a note of all of the things that the customer is complaining about, what they are saying. Then you go back and review everything. Does it make sense? Why is the customer speaking this way? What have I done to make them think this way? It could be how I've responded in previous times. It could have been how I presented myself initially to the customer. It could be familiarity, even in general. But in all of these things, you need to make notes, mental notes of every one of these experiences. There's going to be a high chance that um, you may end up cutting off or losing that customer, but you wouldn't want to make the same mistake going forward. So I believe that even that is an avenue to learn. So you should write down every single one of these experiences that you face as you are moving along or as you build your business, and then keep it in your repository. Just have it at the back of your mind. Okay, this is what I face. I go forward to this customer, I meet XYZ problem. This is how I navigated and solved that problem. So the next person, I'll do it better. So, so yes, this is how I would address or how I would treat a difficult customer. But it's all communication. It's all communication until communication breaks down. But communicate as much as possible.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, you spoke about the fact that you had a lot of mentors and you had a great supportive um, network. So, how did these people contribute to where you are now?
So when I worked in, for example, all the different places I worked, I had the opportunity to meet with their CEOs at the time, and sitting with them and speaking with them one on one and continuously, you get to learn certain business secrets. You also get to learn about how to even improve yourself. The huge part of entrepreneurship is improving yourself daily. You, you may start off with certain habits or behaviors, but as you go along, you need to look at those critically and drop off the ones that don't serve you, and then pick up the attitudes that do serve you, and then keep that on your path with you. And meeting all of these people, they all gave me different insights as to how to work with people. You have to listen. You have to be willing to listen. At every point in time, you have to go back to being a student, learning from them, and, trying to understand how they think. So that's how the mentorship or how meeting all of these different people really helped me, because they told me like it was. They will tell you, some of them will tell you point blank, if you are not doing like, or if you are not living up to power, doing what you need to do, they would tell you exactly what is wrong, and then you analyze that and then rebuild and do things much better going forward.
Okay.
So mentorship is very, very
Yeah.
key. I believe you should be willing to listen to everyone who's willing to speak with you.
Hmm. Okay. So, how were you able to choose your mentors? Like, I mean, going for it, because I mean, I know, when it comes to mentors, I mean, they are all human. They might not be good in all aspects. Okay. So for me, when I'm choosing a mentor, I look at the area. I mean, I study the person's lifestyle and I try to pick what I want to pick from them, not necessarily everything. So I wanted to know, for you, what was the criteria you used when you were picking your mentors?
Okay, so in speaking to a lot of the people I met on my journey, I looked out for those who had at some point failed in some part of their career.
Mm,
And yes, so why I learned why they failed, and then what they did to bounce back. The fact that they didn't give up it is enough to let me know that I can listen to more about what they have to say. I I pick mentors who are relentless, those who won't give up, those who would push you no matter what, those who would yeah, to other people they may seem like very, very aggressive people, but they seem like very aggressive people. But then once you pay attention to the things they speak about, the experiences they've had, you will learn quite a lot. You will learn how to navigate these issues when you face them.
Okay. So
Yes.
I have one very important question. I know they say when you're working 9 to 5, it's like, I mean, you're working 8 hours, but when you're an entrepreneur, it's like you're working round the clock. So how do you balance the demands of running a business with your personal life? Only
You know, I've had a very supportive
oh, very
family.
good.
My family is very supportive. My partner, my wife, she's amazing. There are times I stay up um, I stay up overnight just working, and then I go on to the next day. Sometimes I'm up researching. You can find me up 2 a.m. to morning, and then I move from there to the workplace and then come back again. So for that, you need to have an open mind yourself. You shouldn't be you shouldn't live in a very closed space where you're like, no, I'm not going to. It's all about my job. I'm not going to focus on anything else. No, you you are going to have your job that would exist, your passion that is within you, and then you also have the people that are around you who are also rooting for you, and and I mean, everyone has been very supportive of what I do. You have to make people understand what you do first of all. Um, for example, you're talking about 9 to 5 or more than 9 to 5 if you're an entrepreneur, and if you're an entrepreneur with a family,
Mm,
you can't just be running off. You have to let your family understand what it is you do. They need to know what it is you are contributing to the world around you, the type of things that you are building. They may not always understand from the beginning, but they learn and they see as time goes on that okay, this is what was being done. This is the process. This is a sacrifice that was made at the time, and then these are the rewards now. So it's back to communication. You have to let them know what it is you are doing. You have to let them know your challenges, and then you ride with it. You ride with it. I mean, entrepreneurship will take your time. You'll be up. You find yourself up at midnight researching stuff, and then you end up staying up till the mornings still charging for it and then trying to, for lack of a better word, slay dragons. So, yes, you let everyone know what you're doing, and communication should be key.
okay. Okay. So one last question, and then we open the floor for our audience to interact with
Yeah.
you. So, what advice would you give to someone who is afraid to take the leap into entrepreneurship?
I'll say you would have to kill fear. And killing fear means rebuilding yourself. You have to tear yourself down bit by bit to the ground and start rebuilding yourself again, all over again. Removing every single thing that makes you afraid, all of the things in the past that have made you afraid, all of the things that you believe you'll be afraid of, and rebuild yourself. And then you first and foremost, you need God as your guide. You need God as your guide. The things that will come up that may look scary, but then what I've realized is they don't really harm you. They don't really harm you in a way. They are bigger stepping stones that you have to overcome to see what's at the next level. So it's sort of like you are playing a video game. You get to stage one, you meet the boss of stage one, you have to overcome that, then you see something else with a lot more um, perks and then also challenges. But then you still need to ride on and face every single thing. So fear would be defined as face everything and rise. So FEAR. So that's how I would define fear. So don't be afraid. Move forward. If you have something in mind, you want to create a, you want to, for example, you want to start a carpentry business. You want to create tables that haven't been created before. Just tell yourself, I want to build this, and what I want to build should be the best I could possibly build, and go forward. God will guide you every step of the way. You won't make mistakes if you are honest and then you communicate.
Okay.
So don't
So
be afraid.
yeah. So um, that was that was very inspiring and very I don't know. I've lost words, but I think I've learned a lot. Um, so we are opening the room for questions now. Maybe you can just raise your hand. Okay. So I've seen Mr. Kondo raising his hand. Please, could you unmute yourself and talk? Hello. Please, once you're ready, please unmute yourself and talk.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi. Hi, Joshua. Good evening.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you so much. And I have a number of questions. Please share it in the chat. 4 questions. But my first question is, when did you incorporate the business? Was it during the market analysis phase or when it was time to pursue delivery opportunities?
So incorporation was done during the market analysis stage. So I did the incorporation around that time, and then because I already had an idea what I wanted to do, so I incorporated then, and so still moved, and then analyzed the market as the business was registered. Yes, so you can do that. You don't have to complete the analysis before starting. It's not a straight jacket.
Okay, nice. Thank you. And the second question is, what has been your biggest surprise so far? I mean, good or bad as an entrepreneur?
My biggest surprise has been the creation of the Mail on X application, the Xbox application that I built. Um, when when that was built, of course, the thought was there'll be a time in the future where people will be working from home, and I had no idea of knowing this. And COVID hit, and then it's made all of that a reality. So the application was built in 2017, and one of the interesting things about that application is it was featured in a, a magazine called PC World. Now, PC World is a magazine that I used to like crave for when I was a child. I would ask my uncles abroad to please send me those magazines. Then to actually see a product that I built featured in that magazine was a huge surprise. And what it told me was, look, build everything. Don't be afraid to build. No matter how silly it may sound in the beginning, there's a purpose. Build it anyway. So that's what I learned, and then that's the surprise I had, and that's the experience I gained from that.
Wow. 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 That's very encouraging. Wow.
Yes.
And
So
my third question too is, how did you secure the first opportunity for your business in its early stages?
okay, so I had the number of people who knew about me and the type of work I did in my early workplace in Subtribe. So they basically approached me and then they said, "Oh, look, there's this opportunity. Come and help us build this." You know, it was more of a collaborative effort. So they'll come and say, "Come and help us build this product. We have this idea. We believe this idea will fly. So come along with us and then help." So this is how I got my first client, and from then got a second client from there out of word of mouth, and then moved from there. And so now so we moved from a software development house and then moved all the way to now a company that manages software. So assuming there's a developer amongst you who's built their own software products and then finding it difficult to send out into the market, we will now help you send the test. First of all, test the product very well to make sure it meets international standards, and then we'll help you market. We know how difficult it is, especially if you're building software or new products. So we've moved from software development to this now, and then it started off by doing a great job and letting people know about what you do enough to be confident in your ability to deliver.
Wow. Good stuff. Wow. Thank you so much. And please, my last question,
I'm
which is the
very
fourth
much
question.
interested in that question too.
Yeah, how did you fund the business initially? Especially, you were transitioning from you were transitioning as an employee to become an did you get the initial startup from savings? Like, what was it like?
Okay, so the initial startup funding was mostly from savings and and moving around, just trying to find new customers. You move, find the next customer, reinvest in the business, and move forward as well. Because I was running the company by myself for the initial stages, basically, I was able to manage the costs that came up and fully understand the type of costs that would come later on and adapted to that as we moved. So one of the things I think when you're starting a business, one of the things that people tend to focus on is unless it's something that requires mass production at a goal. But if you're something you can start off small and move big, don't worry too much about the funding. Just think about how you can create the best possible product and satisfying all possible customers that you would meet.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the insight.
All right. So, Mr. Kondo, please feel free.
Yeah, good evening, and thank you very much for this opportunity. Tim, I think you have done marvelously well. It's a very interesting entrepreneurial journey. I just want to make a few remarks. I think entrepreneurship basically involves dreaming, and
Yes.
as you are addressing young people, you should also emphasize the fact that after all the dreams and everything, you need to start from somewhere. What is very necessary for you to succeed in your journey is patience. There's always a starting point. You may have to work with somebody. You may have to work under somebody under very difficult conditions. Sometimes they cheat you. They treat you almost like not even like a human being, and all those things. But the most important lesson here is pick up the knowledge, the skill, and the experience. And when you do that, you are not just being cheated, but you are building and you are carving out your future. And it's very, very important. And most of the time, entrepreneurs, when they tell their story, only tell the nice part. But I believe it's a very, very, very challenging journey. It's a lonely journey sometimes. Sometimes it puts you in a very awkward position. You may have to sacrifice a bit of your family time, a bit of other things. Um, so young people should be able to be patient, should be able to learn and learn under people, and all the skills you gather and everything is for your future benefit. These are the things I want to highlight. I think I appreciate your journey and thank you so much for telling us. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much, sir. So,
Okay. So there's another question on the chat. So John is asking, looking back at your years of experience in tech, what past experience has been most valuable in your current role as a founder?
learning from people.
Mm,
That's been very valuable. Learning from people, you meet so many different types of people, and learning from them. You have to learn from their past mistakes. You have to learn from their dreams, what their dreams were, their visions, what they had to sacrifice to to get to where they were or where they are. And I believe that that has been very valuable, learning from others. And like Mr. Marshall said, patience. You have to be very patient. You have to learn how to be very patient. Patient to the point where it could become very annoying. Yeah, but it's been quite helpful. It's been very helpful, in fact.
All right. Thank you, John, for your question. I saw Mabel, your hand was up. Please come back.
Thank you so much, Pal. I
Okay.
think this webinar is great. Thank you, Timothy,
So,
for
newsflash,
for
let me advertise Mabel a bit. Mabel is also an entrepreneur. She sells hair, and she's a very good sales um personnel. She's a top voice in sales and
Hey,
marketing on LinkedIn. Yes, so those who are struggling with sales and all that, I think you should check Mabel out as well. Okay, Mabel, your question.
thank you so much, Pearl. I love that. Pearl is one big fan of me, and I'm a big fan as well. But yeah, I think this webinar is great because of your insight. I joined a bit late because I was in other engagement, but coming in, everything I've heard has been tremendous. But I just have one question for you, Timothy. Maybe you have touched on it, but how have you been successful in partnerships? I know that to get ahead of a lot of things as an entrepreneur, you'd need to go into certain partnerships, whether it's in terms of on the sales side of things or even on the technical side of things as a tech person. How have you been able to, excuse the noise at the background, the kids, but how have you been able to be successful in those partnerships? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mabel. Um, you know, people have spoken about partnerships and how partnerships can break apart, but I don't think that should be something that should worry anyone. You have to look at your strengths, and then you have to also analyze your weaknesses. In cases where you are weak in certain areas, there's nothing wrong with offloading that work to a third party that can do the job. In our case, for example, we offload marketing and some other aspects out. You shouldn't be afraid to, let's say, share or spread the business across board, share the knowledge across different people, and don't also be. I know things like competition and people taking business ideas and stuff is quite a pressing issue. It's something that would cross your mind, but don't let it in the initial stage. Build what you can to the best of your ability. Outsource to people who can do the job. I mean, once people see you have a good vision, once they see you have a good product, they would all come and join you. People would join from people you didn't know were paying attention to what you were doing would suddenly show up, and you will do marvelous things. So it's good to partner. You should partner as much as possible. And no one should be afraid of partnerships. It's another form of a relationship where the key parts of every relationship would be communication, patience, and honesty. Honesty being the first and foremost. So I believe that you should partner as much as possible. Partner with whoever. You never know what you can create. For example, we've partnered with a company that has a restaurant management system, and together we've built an even bigger solution. We've built a solution that makes it even possible for people with speech and hearing impairment to actually dine and enjoy dining in restaurants, and also help event managers monitor events in real time so they can monitor what people are consuming in real time. And this was born out of a partnership. So I believe we shouldn't be afraid of partnerships. We should go ahead, have a product, have a vision behind that product, and share it. People will come. They will come and they will help out.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank,
welcome.
thank you, Mabel, for your question. Um, I am I'm opening the room for more questions. Um, Sending your questions and
Okay, so I have a question for you. I want to know if you ever run out of money or if you've ever come close to running out of money to run the business and how it felt and what you did to like get back up. Yeah.
It's entrepreneurship several times. I mean, several times. It happened. It's happened several times, and every entrepreneur would know that you would get to a point where you would run out of funds. But then what I started doing was stop thinking about the money and thinking about how to create more value. I redefined money and started calling it value. Whereas now I know I can build something and create some value around it, and then that would automatically generate whatever revenue that you need. You would run out of money. That's it. You may go for loans to continue your business if it's something mass produced and may cause you to entirely die out. But as much as possible, create value. Just create value, and that would generate money automatically. It's yeah. Don't be afraid to keep dreaming and adding on to your dreams. The moment you stop dreaming, the funds start depleting. Don't get comfortable in any space at all. Once you've built, you've delivered to customers, look at ways to improve and do things even more. For example, if you have a shop, a physical shop, the next thing will be to move it to an online base. Then, then you can spread that across, maybe send that to a different country. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. The moment you stop, you feel complacent for even a moment. It's almost like cash is everything, every business you have, cash is around for a limited period of time. But once you innovate and bring something on top of that, there's a new lifeline that extends your funding by a little bit more. Keep growing, and then your funds will keep increasing. I've faced that several times. Yeah. So it will happen, but don't be afraid of it happening. Just once you start feeling, hey, what's going to happen? What's going to happen next? Look for ways to innovate.
Okay. Um, Thank you, but I have a follow-up question.
Yes, please.
So, um, still on the running out of money subject, has there ever been a time when because you ran out of money, you've been unable to meet payroll, and like how did your employees react to that, and how did you handle the situation?
Okay, so this is why starting off as a small team is good. You all understand the entrepreneurship journey and you are all on the path together. You, as and when you get to the point where you are running out of funds, you understand what needs to be done. So you all come together once again, like I say, improve on the business model, keep improving on it, market aggressively, and it won't last if you have such an experience. Those droughts don't last for too long. And when you do have that, you would have learned from the mistakes in the past. So then you know how best to address it going forward. It shouldn't occur too many times, although I mean it's entrepreneurship, so anything can happen. So once you have a team that understands, and you should, communication is key, like I say, and I will keep saying, once you have a team that understands, I think you can navigate that better. It may have been challenging if I started off employing maybe 30 people at a go, and then you face the challenge of fund depletion. That's when you start panicking, and that's when things start going haywire. But once you start off small, keep building, is a chance for you to also learn what happens when you do run into such situations, so you know how to better fix the problem in as you become larger, if there's the need to become extremely large. Does this answer your question?
Yes, please, you have. Thank you.
Okay. So another marketing. Rosa is she's a baker. And she does this very delicious juice as well. Yes. So she's also an entrepreneur. So her brand is Big Tree. Yes. And I love her products. We fight a lot, but I mean it's all patronizing her business. So yes, these yeah. So Rosa, maybe if you can share a link to your Instagram channel so that people can also follow you and then patronize from you. Same as Maybell. And anyone who is an entrepreneur and you have an Instagram page or anywhere we can find you, social media, or your numbers as well, yes, please do so in the chat so that people patronize you. This is an entrepreneurship webinar. So yes, we are supporting small businesses, small and big businesses. Yes. Okay. So I see Nana Yao Bing. Please feel free to unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. My question is, what does longevity looks like for you? I asked this because we are in this part of the world where lifespan of businesses barely cross a decade, 5 years even. What does longevity looks like for you, and what measures have you do you have in place to let your business stand the test of time, so to speak? Because we are in this part of the world where things like loans are frowned upon. Which they make loans seem like it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Scaling is frowned upon to some extent. And as you earlier you spoke about partnership. I mean, through partnership. Hello.
Oh yes, please feel
Yes.
free. I think someone had unmuted themselves, but please feel free.
Okay, yeah. So through partnership, magic can be birthed, infrastructure can be shared, and you get bigger and you're able to last longer. So I was wondering, what does longevity looks like for you, and what measures do you have in place for that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, rightly said, we are in an environment where businesses typically do not or haven't been known to last probably up to 100 years. But there's a huge advantage now. We are in an information age. We have the internet, which is global, which is everywhere, which means two things. One, you have the ability to keep innovating, keep coming up with new ideas, and then keep building upon the ideas that you already have. Two, you are not just limited to your market alone. Now you have a bigger market. You have the whole world at your disposal. For example, the Mail on X application has been used in Brazil, used in a lot of other places. And you shouldn't limit yourself to one country now. You can go across board. I mean, you can. There are other African countries. If you realize the Ghanaian market is saturating, you can move to a Rwandan market. You can move
Hi,
to
good chief.
a Cape Verdean market. You
Yeah.
can
Can you
try
guys
out all of these things
I was trying to
while
come up with
still
a
being
line out.
in one location. That's the power of the internet. And then I believe
Thank you.
capitalizing on these new changes or on this stage of evolution would help any business move as long as they need to go. You have access to many sources of funding right now. So it's not just in one country or one particular product you can sell or one particular innovation. Keep moving, keep building, keep dreaming, keep exploring. You you keep going on. A lot of the times, what happens in businesses completely. I'm not saying this is the case all of the time, but pretty much like what they said about the dinosaurs back in the day, saying that they failed to adapt, so they could not go beyond and they became extinct. Now it's easy to adapt. All you really need now to start any business is a domain name, a site, and a plan. And you can start running businesses from basically anywhere in the world. So you shouldn't just be limited to one location. And the fact that we have internet now, we have access to a global market shouldn't stop us from dreaming even bigger. Yes. So
I've been
Thank
trying
you.
to
And
call you.
yeah,
Thank
and
you,
as follow up for
Nanaya.
that, please. So, what trends do you see emerging in the Ghanaian market currently that others might be overlooking from your perspective?
okay. Well, my thoughts on this are partially due to some of the things that I've read along the line, seeing times that they had the last type of pandemic, this huge pandemic. I think it was in the what was early 1900s, I think. And then what started to rebuild the society and economies again are people or artisans, basically, people who could now create things with their own hands. So now I believe the businesses that will begin to flourish once again are businesses where you create your own product. You create something. Like I was talking about the table, a different type of table. You can create a table that can hold tablets in a special way that will now be used in conferences and meetings and whatnot. You can you can do something in regards to farming and put that in an online space where people can have their own home gardens but then can trade amongst each other. You can create things like that. So I believe where we are now, we each and every one of us has you have a talent. We all have talent. We all have things that we are able to do. I believe we should capitalize on that, create businesses out of that, and basically creation. We should keep creating. That's what would make us move forward. Anything else may be a bit of a problem because then there are other external challenges and stuff. But create things that you can manage, build slowly, and watch grow. That would require that in some points you have to know that like you don't think too much about the money or what you make as you are starting that. Just focus on creating the best possible thing that you can build. Everyone has that unique gift. Focus on what you can really build and then let that go. Let the world see what you have.
Okay.
No. Yeah, thank you. And tell, sorry.
Um,
But my last question, okay, my last question. Jojo, please, can you just give us a walkthrough of so far any critical decision you made that has had a significant impact on your business trajectory? It shouldn't be. It can be a decision that wasn't so. It didn't maybe sit well. So it didn't sit so much well with you, or it might be a bit politically incorrect, but you had to still do it. It was the right thing.
I believe I can't think of anything off head, but the last thing that was built was I was speaking about a restaurant system. We were moving this restaurant system around, like it's trying to figure out the market, trying to find out what works, what doesn't work, what our pricing model should be like. And then I came up with an idea to build an attachment to that system that enables basically restaurants or events to run in a fully self-service way. So I built that, and I didn't tell the team about what I was building. I came up and I told them one day in a presentation, I was like, look, why don't we do this? I've built this product, and I believe this product is also good. Let's look at this product. If it's good enough, let's give it to restaurants or whoever for free. Let's give it to them for free and let them use and let them see our quality of work. One, let them get familiar with who we are. Two, number three, let them now feel comfortable with dealing with us as a business, and then we can now push whatever systems across board to them. So I believe that was a huge decision that was made, and that I'm saying that because it was one that I did without consulting the team, but I mean it ended up going very well, and that the product has now moved to the point where Microsoft is funding its infrastructure. So sometimes you would have to make difficult decisions, decisions that may not be popular, decisions that within yourself may seem odd, but for the greater good, those decisions have to be made. Do not be afraid of making those decisions. Like I said about fear, face everything and rise. Face everything that comes up.
okay. So, Celestial, before you come in, I have a question from someone online. Um, he was asking that at what point did you look at your business and consider it a success?
Oh, it's an ongoing process. I have not really looked at it and screamed, "Oh, okay, I've built a successful business." No, it's learning. I'm learning every single day, every single time there's something new that's coming up. The idea of success, I believe, will come from those who are on the outside looking into your business. They will tell you, they would say things like, "Oh, you are running a successful business and stuff." But from the inside, you are still learning. You are learning as you go. You meet new customers and you perfect yourself every time. You are learning and perfecting as you move along. So you wouldn't necessarily from the inside scream, "Oh, I've reached a successful business." It's for those who are looking on in to judge whether your business is successful and speak about it. But you internally keep enjoying what you are doing, keep building. And if you build good products, you build good services, then, I mean, you hear what people have to say about what you're doing.
Okay, Celestia, please feel free to ask your question now.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Yes, I have a question for Jojo. So it's pertaining to leadership. I think in your last part one submission, you spoke about how you had to make a decision without the team's consent. So it's all about leadership. How did you lead the team to get to where they are? Because I believe that for an organization to go far, leadership is number one. And anything outstanding that you've done so far out of leadership you would like to share with us.
Okay. So the very first thing I'll say about that when people speak about leadership, I'll say you need to have faith. You need to have faith in yourself. You need to have faith in what you are doing. Once you jump into entrepreneurship, there are no safety nets. Anything can kick you off the market. Anything can cause you to die out. There are no real safety nets. You have to have faith and keep improving yourself and keep improving the things that are around you and keep communicating. I mean, you have to keep communicating. Those decisions that were made, that's like the only time that that has been done. It wasn't something that would, you have to analyze the decisions you are making. And the decision must be in the best interest of everybody who's in the team. It has to be in the interest also of the company that you're creating. It has to be in the interest of everybody who's also looking up to what you are creating and then its potential for success. You can make decisions, you communicate those decisions, but the first and foremost is faith. You need to have faith. Without faith, you would make decisions that would cause disasters. But you need to have strong faith, strong conviction about nearly everything in the business. You don't know what's going to happen the next day. You have no idea what will happen the next day. Your business will shut down the next. Anything could happen. There are acts of God that could occur, but have faith and keep at whatever it is that you are doing. That's what I believe. And so when you speak about leadership, I believe the very first thing is to have faith in what you are trying to put out into the marketplace.
Yeah, Jojo, please, also as follow up. Hell, I'm sorry. I know you're not inviting me to the next webinar. How has your leadership style evolved as your company has been growing? I mean, over the period, how has
Okay,
it changed?
so Jojo, before you answer the question, I knew what I
Yes.
signed up for before I invited Joshua. I know you asked all the questions in the whole world.
Oh, but it's good. Asking questions is good. It's good. Okay. So, like I said, have faith in what you are doing. Just have faith in what you are doing. And my leadership style, what do you call it? I say it's it's mostly faith based. I tell people, look, we are going to do this in this period, and it may seem strange at first, but then the fact that it's come out of your mouth, the fact that it's been spoken into existence, it comes true. So whatever you speak about, whatever you think in your mind and speak about, start planning for it as though it has happened or will happen, and yeah, that will move you forward. That will move you forward. I have not practiced that aggressive leadership. Like I said, we're a small team and we manage ourselves very well. And for things that we need external help, we speak to partners about it. We have people who come on board, people who also want to learn how to do these things or market products or sell software, we we put them on board and then we work with them to achieve a goal. So be open-minded, be very open-minded. Don't let things get to you. Don't worry about failure. I mean, and know that every block is not intended to kill you off, but you are you as an entrepreneur, your first and foremost trait is to learn how to solve problems. You wouldn't be an entrepreneur if you didn't want to solve some kind of a problem. So anytime you are faced with a block, it's just a way of telling you that okay, you've hit this block. It's not the end of the road. Find a way around it. And you should be able to communicate that to the rest of your team so they all have the same vision and they can move along with you. So no matter what challenges you face, everyone else is like, okay, we face this challenge. All right, now let's go ahead. Let's still go ahead. You know, it gets to the point where even your team members can come and suggest something that is extreme, and you're like, hey, can we really pull this off? You listen to what they say and realize that they were also right. So keep an open mind. Listen. Yeah,
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
you're welcome.
Stephanie, please feel free.
Yes, hi everyone. Good evening, Mr. Apia. Thank you so much for your contribution so far. It's really been insightful. I'm coming from the data perspective.
Yeah.
I recognize or appreciate the fact that you are running a software company, but I just want to find out how important data has been in the work that you do. Do you have like a data team or a data department, you know, that you leverage? Sometimes to understand how to use data in the software that you build. So I just want to understand how relevant data is to the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Data is everything. What I realized at an early age is um, I love data. I love looking at data. I am really good with pattern recognition. So I've always loved looking in databases, trying to read what's going on within my systems, looking at what we are doing wrong, coming up with reports every single time. Data is key. You shouldn't omit that in in whatever business you're venturing into. So in my I'll give you an example of a product that I built some time ago. I built a dating application. Yes, I did. I built a dating application that was some years ago, and I released it onto the international market. And then what I started realizing was this dating application was supposed to work in this way. When you move to a particular area, you're in a particular area, uses your GPS to find whoever is around you who wants to also meet or whatever. And then I realized that through the data, the the clientele I was looking for was quite opposite then. And I was very young at the time, so like I didn't really understand some of the things that I was seeing in the data. But then it gave me an idea of what society was becoming. The largest, it was downloaded a lot in Brazil, so it gave me an idea of what was happening in Brazil, what people's tendencies were, what the general sexuality was moving towards. So I got to understand that. And from that period, every system I build, I look through the data and it helps me predict what will happen in the near future with basically everything. So data is key. It's not just for present information, but if you know the trends to look out for, you will know how to predict what may happen in the next few months or maybe a month away. You get to know. For example, if you are running e-commerce, you have an idea of what your sales will be like over time if you have past information. So data is very key, and I don't think it should be omitted from anything.
Thank you so much for your response. That was very, very insightful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, please, do we have any more questions? We've, we've crossed 1 hour, 20 minutes. We've passed our time. I want to know if there are any more questions. If not, then oh, okay. So Richard. So hi Richard, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, hello. Thank you and good evening to everyone.
Hello, good
Yes.
evening.
So Jojo, I wanted to know, is it too late to venture into the tech space? Let's take considering someone who is over 30 years, because coding and all those stuff. Would it be too late, or you still encourage someone to get into it?
Well, technology doesn't have an expiry date. That's what I'll say. You can start at any point in time. Once you have an idea, and you can draw out that idea on a piece of paper, and then do some research on that idea and figure out whether it's even doable. I mean, now things are much easier with AI, ChatGPT, and whatnot. You can basically build full applications in a day if you want to. But I believe it doesn't end. It's now opened up even more. You can start a tech company when you're 60 years old. No one stops you. You just need an idea. You put the idea down, you put down a plan, and you start. I mean, maybe you may not want to do the heavy lifting of software development, actually sitting down to do the coding, but just put the plan down, and I assure you, you will find the right people to do the job for you. They will appear.
Okay, thank you very much, Jojo.
Yeah.
Hi Celestia, please go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to add up to what Jojo said. So, like people always say that, do I have to learn coding? The tech space is wide, and we have a lot of players involved that you don't really have to involve in the technical part. Me, as instance, I'm a Scrum Master, so mostly I don't do the technical aspect. Just that you would have to understand tech, the development life cycle, just understand database, all those petty things. But I think the tech career is very broad. And as Jojo said, you don't have to do the technical aspects. Just do your plan, just do your research. And probably you may not be interested in the technical aspects. Maybe the project management is what you're interested in. So I think there is space for everyone. Yeah, just do
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also to add up,
Yes.
The tech space, yes, is very broad, very very broad. You you don't really need. I mean, for me, based on experience, I started very technical, but I can't remember the last time I wrote code. I can't remember the last time I wrote code, but I'm still in the tech space. Yes. So there are so many options available. Um, we can speak about that, Richard, after the call, and then we can take it from there.
Okay,
Yes.
Phil.
So
Thank you.
sorry. So that's what Pearl and Bimpoma are saying. That's very true. We have an offshoot company that trains people in software quality assurance, for example, and these are graduates out of university. We train them, and they've come out of university. They want to go into computer science, but don't really like coding that much. But we realize that these people become very great quality assurance people. So we have a program where we train graduates, train them in software quality assurance, and then we outsource their services as well. So that's true. You don't really need to do the coding. There are so many aspects that you can delve into. And software quality assurance is really good because it gives you insight into basically every type of product that is about to be released onto the market.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Yes. So, as I said, Matilda. Hello, Matilda. Okay. Um, so as I said earlier, um, this is also a networking event. Okay. Please feel free to put in your LinkedIn profiles in the chat for people to follow you. Yes, your Instagram, wherever you want people to find you. Please feel free to do that. And then please follow everyone. I urge everyone to at least make a connection from here before we leave. Okay. So Matilda, I think you keep on muting yourself. Do you have a question for us? Okay. So if there are no questions, I will just use 5 minutes to talk about the mandate for Noteworthy Days. Okay. So it's it's just a mandate to empower people to help with either your career journey, personal life, and all that. We started off with a blog, and then now we are having a monthly webinar series as well. If as time goes on and the vision becomes bigger, maybe we can expand from our online webinars to an in-person webinar. So yes, this is going to come off every month. So I urge everyone to join us every month. There's a lot we need to learn. There's a lot we can learn for us to grow in in our careers, in our personal life, and all that. So please stay tuned. We have more people coming in. Okay, so I would like to use this opportunity to say a big thank you to Juju here. I think we spent about a whole month, yes, trying to plan this, and Jojo kept calling, "Hell, how are we? Yeah, things, how's the planning going?" And yes, I've learned a lot from him, a lot he couldn't say over the webinar, but um, I urge everyone to connect with him. He's a very lovely person. He's a very good teacher. He can be chatting with you and then he's actually teaching you a lot. Yes. So Jojo, thank you so much for impacting a lot within a span of 1 hour 30 minutes. We are really grateful. Yes.
Thank you so much. This is a very amazing talk, and I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to more episodes. This is an amazing initiative, and well done. And one thing I would like to say to everyone: don't be afraid to take a chance. E- Even even if you feel it will kill you at the end of the day, I mean, don't be afraid to take a chance. At least you die knowing that you took this chance. I mean, take a chance. Don't be afraid. Don't let fear stop you from doing anything that you want to do. Keep God as your guide and your protector, and then just move. Break into any wall you want to, walk into any place that you want to. The gates are open for you. Nothing will be wrong. Just move ahead.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
So,
everyone.
yes, our session has ended. I hope everyone connected with someone here on LinkedIn. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay.